Okay. So can we do something about fear? We have to do something about fear. There's no choice. Because fear is something that we will have to meet with in life. And I want you to just watch this video.
ऑफ है क्या? नहीं, एक का ऑफ है. आप अपना ऑन करना.
नहीं.
Now this video of the child being afraid of its own shadow, it may be now funny for us to look at. As a child, it is being afraid, and as an adult, a grown-up adult for us, that may look like something for amusement now or entertainment. Nevertheless, metaphorically seeing, this is what we are also doing in our life. Like it or not, the shadow represents the life context. The child is we, and we are afraid of what is the reality around us and try to run away from it. Whether it is right or wrong is not the question, but we are also doing it is a fact. Franklin D. Roosevelt says, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Yes, the only thing we'll have to fear is fear itself, I understand. But it is easier to say. It's very, very easier to say. And when fear grips us, can we do something about it? Oftentimes, we are either paralyzed or confused, and we don't know the way forward. And I would like to quote our saint poet, Thiruvalluvar, because our Honorable Prime Minister, though not from Tamil Nadu, from Gujarat, he doesn't fail to quote Thiruvalluvar, Thirukkural. Even in Warfront area, he quotes. So we are duty bound to definitely refer to Thiruvalluvar to address our life skill needs. So Thiruvalluvar says, Anjuvad Anjamai Pedaimai, Anjuvad Anjal Arivar Thoril. You need to be afraid for those things. You need to be afraid. If you are not afraid for those things, you need to be afraid. Then you are an idiot. You are imprudent. So those people who are intelligent, matured, will be afraid of those things they need to be afraid of. If you are not afraid of those things you need to be afraid, then you are imprudent, immature. So being afraid is a part of maturity process. So having fear in life is not something wrong. It's not something to be shy of. It's quite natural. Yes. Like when we cross the road, we need to be careful about crossing the road because of the speeding vehicles. If you are not afraid, something wrong. That's why in Tamil they say, Ilam Pillai Bayam Ariyade. The child does not know. Yes. So if you want to really grow in life, learn to handle fear. It is popularly said, fear of death and fear of public speaking are the dominant fears in man. The number one fear is fear of death, and next to that is fear of public speaking. Normally said. That's why even Thiruvalluvar says, Pagayahathu savar eliyar ariyar avayahathu anjadavar. Many may even be ready to stand still on a war front facing bullet, but only a few will dare to stand on a podium without any fear. That means even about 2,500 years before, Thiruvalluvar talks of the fear of public speaking. So it's quite natural for us. If we are afraid when we stand on the dais, it's okay. It's a part of the learning process, game. I mean, if I can quote this, even Swami Vivekananda had this slightest fear on the stage. It's recorded. 1893, September 11, Chicago meet, the religious conference over there, World Parliament of Religion. When every time his name was called, Swami Vivekananda, he said, I'll talk later, I'll talk later, I'll talk later. The reason for him is he had that slightest tremor, disturbance in him. What am I going to speak? How am I going to speak? Representing about 30 crores of people, I've come here representing my religion, Hindu religion, and I must speak in front of this audience. What am I to speak? Will I do justice? He had all those thoughts crossing in his mind, internal dialogue going on in his head, that he said, I'll talk later, I'll talk later. So he was evading or he was postponing, and everybody was exhausted. Finally, his turn came. He said, Vivekananda, please come. So he prayed to his master, Sri Ramakrishna, please come and speak through me. And then the words flew from his mouth. You know what happened. Then he turned the history. Yeah. So even he had that fear of public speaking. And if he had fear of public speaking, it's okay. Even we have fear in our life. Yes. So what is fear basically? We know the popular definitions. I'm just taking you through so that it's there. First, escape and run. The moment something is uncomfortable, first escape and run we have. People say face everything and rise. This is positively said. Face everything and rise. Forget everything and run. Again, if you're cowed, if you're bullied by the atmosphere or the context, you usually want to run away. So forget everything and run. False evidence appearing real. That's fear. But the false evidence appearing real is the in the dark, the rope is seen as a snake, and so you're afraid to go and catch it because it appears, false evidence appearing real. I'm an NLPN. So as an NLPN, this is the explanation I give. Fantasy eliminating available resource. Resource is the capacity we have in us. Fantasy is our imagination. So our own meaning, the imagination that we give to a context makes us feel crippled, drained of, sapped. So the available resource is sapped. Like even though we prepare well, in the exam hall, the moment you go and sit over there, suddenly you feel like you have lost everything. Nothing has come to your memory. And you really fumble for words. Or well-prepared text on the podium when you go and stand, everything goes out of your mind and then you fumble for words, and then there's apological tone of, I'm sorry, you know, this is the first time I'm talking. These things happen. That means the skill you have, but this unwanted teasing imagination of, will I go wrong? Will people laugh at me? These kind of thoughts sap our resource and we are made to really fumble and struggle over there. So fantasy, eliminating available resource. These are the acronyms that we are using. Please understand, fear is an emotion. And all emotions are in us that come to us, whether we like it or not. It is happening in spite of us. We cannot consciously choose an emotion. All emotions are habitual behavior pattern triggering certain feelings in the body or in the mind, and so we get emotions. It comes to us in spite of ourselves. I should not be afraid. I should not be afraid. I really want to feel strong. I want to feel bold. All those assurance affirmations are there till you face the context. The moment you face the context, blah, 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 you get freezed. So emotions come to us in spite of us. No amount of willpower or determination can work when, or any intellectual calculation goes for a 6 when emotion runs sway in you. Emotion is what? A biochemical storm in your brain is what is all emotion about. You cannot be intellectually afraid. You cannot choose to be afraid, or you cannot choose to feel fear. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, I'm going to be afraid. You can never. It just comes like a mosquito. Everything appears to be quiet and calm. Suddenly from somewhere you get a mosquito and then you keep biting it. What is this? I don't know where it is. So in the same way, emotions keep creeping into us or overpower us. please bear in mind, we cannot do away with fear in life. If there is no fear, life will not even move an inch. Fear will be there. The only question is, where are we afraid of, or what are we afraid about, and how long does that fear stay? So there is no life which has no fear at all. Like it said, there are only two people who will never have any fear: those who are yet to be born and those who have left to this earth. Only these two people will not have fear on earth. I don't know what they have fear in other world. We don't know. I don't know. Or like example, the exam fear is only for the student who wants to score good marks. A student who is very sure of failing, he doesn't have exam fear at all. Yeah. So people who want to live a decent, matured, intelligent, productive life normally have fear as a part of their progression. So if we can learn to understand and manage fear, certainly we can progress in life with fear. So we can only drive fear out of any context. From one context to another context, fear can come. So we need to keep addressing it, combating it as we face the life situation. Just a play of words. Don't fear fear until fear causes fear in you. That means don't on your own inflict fear. Yeah. So when you face with fear, then face it at the point of time with the tools you're going to learn today. Otherwise, don't fear fear until fear causes fear in you. That means don't sit on thinking about what will happen, what if, and inflict fear in yourself. Yes. Okay. Now, fear is an emotion and courage is a decision. Opposite of fear is not boldness or courage. Opposite of fear is calmness or serenity. Because people who are bold or courageous are people who are acting in spite of their fear. They are people who act in spite of their fear. Now, where there is no fear, there is no need for courage. And worry and anxiety are shades of fear. Worry and anxiety are shades of fear. Anger is an aggressive expression of fear. Anger is a very aggressive expression of fear. And we cannot decide to be afraid. Maybe I can inflict fear on somebody, whereas I cannot cause fear to me, to myself. It's not possible at all. This is the neurological explanation of fear. All emotions are here in amygdala. Now, this is the place. Amygdala is the place where you have the seat of emotion. Fear comes from there. If you remove amygdala from the physical organ of brain, then the man is said to have no fear at all about anything, which is very dangerous for life to go. Yeah. Okay. There are 5 stages of fear. Between 0 to 2 years, we are fear of strangers. As a kid, we are fear of strangers. Any new person, then we shy away and then we hide behind, or we reach out for our familiar people, parents or guardian, whoever it is. 2 to 4 is fantasy. We imagine various situations on our own and then maybe causing fear within ourselves. More of imagination. 4 to 6, fear of separation from parents. That means we want to be in the atmosphere of familiarity and comfort. So 4 to 6 is fear of separation from parents. 6 to 11 is fear of being physically hurt. Fear of doctor, fear of thunder, any loud noise. Of course, loud noise, even for adults, it can cause fear. But then more here, fear of being physically hurt. 12 year onwards, social fears. That means whatever that comes, that atmosphere throws in us. Information that we receive, messages that we get. In the name of advice, people say, don't do this, don't do that. If you do that, you get COVID. You have to. So, a lot of messages being bombarded into us, and we get the fears. Of course, 20 onwards and all, marriage fear, job fear, a lot of fears are coming, which you know. Yeah. I think many of you would have crossed, except one participant whom I know. No, she's doing a college. Yeah, okay. Now, 10 laws of fear. These are the basic 10 laws of fear, which for you to understand. It is natural to feel the fear. It's very natural to feel the fear. So if you have been having fear in life, it's okay. Now say, okay, it's okay, I have fear. It's quite natural. If you want to do away with fear, then we can do something about it, but never feel guilty of having fear in life. It's okay to have fear. All humans have fear. The laptop which I'm using doesn't have fear. The webinar doesn't have fear. The board that you see doesn't have fear. No inanimate object has fear because they don't have emotions. Whereas we human beings, it is quite natural to have fear. Only thing what is required is understanding of it and taking intelligent step to address the fear causing situation and behaving appropriately, which is productive and useful for us. Fear actually is a basic emotion evolved for us to protect us. Fear of falling, fear of unknown beings, creatures. So it is basically in the evolutionary process of the being, fear is there. And in fact, brain is basically programmed or is there to inflict fear in us. The main of brain is to detect what is negative around us and say, be cautious, be cautious. Because we have been programmed like that since our, as a species, we have been programmed like that, we should say. Fear is a reaction or a mixture of real event or a trigger and the meaning we give it to it in our imagination. Events happen around us and the meaning that we give to it gives us the fear. Like as a child, we were afraid of so many situations. At that time, that fear was genuine for us. Now as an adult, we may laugh at that. But whatever it is, fear is only self-caused emotion. No atmosphere, no situation can inject or imbue fear into you unless you permit it. So fear is our response to external situation. Like, yes, if you find a snake in front of you, yes, it is genuine. I'm not saying no. Yet, snake charmers will happily go and hold it. Since we are not trained to hold the snake, it's quite natural for us to be afraid. So, fear is a mixture of this, a real external situation and our response to it. And so here it takes us, fear is of two types, real fear, unreal fear, or authentic fear and assumed fear. Authentic fear is something that happens in the real time now. As you are sitting listening to this webinar now, supposing in your place, you find something fishy or something which disturbs the atmosphere, naturally you'll be alarmed. We need to respond to that. Otherwise, we are not human beings. So authentic fear is something real-time fear which happens here and now. Assumed fear is an imagined fear and it always about the future. What will happen? What if? Is the internal dialogue that will happen? What if this happens? What will happen? What will happen? So assumed fear, there is no external situation which is causing you any kind of immediate threat, yet our own mental estimate, analysis, guesstimate, calculations, thinking, overthinking, this way, that way, permutation, combination, all this brings into us a context which is not real externally, but inside it becomes so real that we start feeling initially disturbance, uneasiness, then we incubate, sit on it, think again, then gradually anxiety comes, then worry comes, and then it becomes a settled fear that, oh my God, now this start happening in us. Fact is, you know very well, we cannot be afraid of the past. Past is past. We may be regretting about the past. We may be feeling bitter about our past, but fear is not related to past at all. We may be afraid of an imagined situation in the future based on the past. What if that happens again? Which is again internal creation, but we cannot be afraid of the past. So fear is always about, if it is authentic fear now, assumed fear is about the future. The fact is, whether it is real fear in the here and now, real time, or an imagined fear, the feeling of fear is real. Palpitation, agitation, sweating, uneasiness, nibbling of objects, touching, all this is the feeling of fear is real. Behind all fears is the fear of losing something we value most. In the status or self-respect, safety, security, freedom, reputation, comfort, convenience, whatever, losing something that we value most in our life. See, even if money is lost, it's not the loss of money that puts us off. It is about the security or the assumed or calculated benefit that the money was to give. Missing of it only makes us feel really afraid of money loss. Or the death of near and dear. Very unfortunate. It is not actually the death that causes the fear or the regret or any kind of uneasiness. It is the nice things, the pleasant experiences, memories that they were continuously giving is not going to be available anymore. That loss is make you really condole or regret over the loss or weep over the loss. So we always, when the moment we realize something of value that we lose, then we are emotionally disturbed. All fear have a positive intention. The behavior of fear in terms of loss of memory, fumbling in words to express, a grim face, weeping, or shying away from reality, hiding, all these things are behavior patterns which are expressed by a person who is afraid. Yet, the feeling of fear has something to tell you that please, supposing you are afraid of, say, exam, okay, I don't know how I'm going to, which means that fear is, please score more marks. That's the message of that exam fear. You are taking up a new task assignment, and then you have the anxiety. Ori, I have to complete the task properly. I need to complete it properly. Hope I do it properly. I don't know whether it's something go wrong. All these things are because you care for the project to be completed perfectly, beautifully. That positive concern of doing well and the doubt of your ability causes the fear. So all fear have a positive intention. So the moment you have fear from now on in any life context, don't say, I don't know, I'm afraid. Don't say keep like that. Acknowledge, oh, I've got fear now. I'm afraid of fear. Okay, I'm afraid of the situation. So there is a positive intention. There's a message that the fear says, learn to acknowledge it. So all fear have a positive intention, something that it has to communicate to you. Like they say, when the body pains, pain is only a symptom. It says something is wrong in your body. Please take care. Like the fever. Now, when the temperature goes up, COVID, somebody comes, like a gun shooting, they come shoot you. Okay, normalcy, they walk away. So temperature in the body, when it goes up, it is not a disease. It's only a symptom of something not good in the body. Yeah. Okay. 2 people are in the waiting room. Okay, I'm allowed. Okay. Allowed. All fear have a positive intention. We are born with 2 fears. Fear of falling and fear of abandonment. Fear of falling and fear of abandonment. That is why during sleep, sometimes we feel like having to fall and then we adjust and manage. So fear of falling and fear of abandonment are the 2 basic fears. All other fears are learnt fears. Every other fear is a learnt fear. Of course, fear of death, we cannot foresee now unless we really face the situation. Because I have faced the situation twice in my life. Till such time I was claiming, oh, we are all Atma. Atma doesn't have end. It is never born, it never dies. Atma is eternal. Body is impermanent. All sermonizing I was doing based on Bhagavad Gita from Patanjali Yoga Sutra and all. Such like a parrot I was talking. But in 2 life contexts, when I was facing the near-death situation, at that time, I knew what was going on in me. And when I was fresh in bed, alive from the context, then only I stopped sermonizing about Atma, Paramatma, God. Okay, let me take care of this body well. Let me live in this body well, and then work towards it. I stopped advising people about life is impermanent and all. So fear of death is something that we cannot foresee now. Now, every other fear is only self-inflicted. Like, for example, one of the fears that's still allowed to happen is the accident that I faced when I was on road. So even now, I don't do night travel on road. Even now, I don't do night travel on road. I deliberately allowed that fear to be in me so that I don't venture out to going on road in the night. Yeah, so I allow it. So we learn from the past and allow it to settle in us. So except fear of falling and fear of abandonment, all other fear of our life is inflicted by us by a particular process, consciously or non-consciously. We don't know how we did it, but we have made it to happen. So if it is programmed to get the fear, we can be programmed to come out of fear also. So all these are learned fear, just a conditioning. At the same time, fear is enjoyable if we know the situation, overall outcome is safe. Like the roller coaster round that we make. Yeah. Oh, we make a noise when it comes down. I know suddenly there is something, yet we know it's there. And horror movies that we watch and movies that we see needs to be thrilling. There should be an element of suspense over there. Somewhere, only then we enjoy. So when there is no real danger and there is an element of suspense of anxiety, then we really want it. So that fear becomes an enjoyable fear. We can talk ourselves into feeling afraid. Most of our negative emotions, anxiety, worry, depression, frustration, anger, all these things, it doesn't come just like that. We keep on talking about it. What the hell is this? Why it's happening? Why it's happening? I think I'm cursed. A lot of internal dialogue going and keep on feeding it. And then all those things cumulatively erupt as an emotion in you. And when you physiologically feel the emotion, then only it becomes a concrete fear or any disturbing emotion. All emotions are physiologically expressed, including fear. So we can talk ourselves into feeling afraid. We can be psyched. We are psyching ourselves. So if we can psych ourselves to feel afraid, we can always psych ourselves to be even coming out of that fear. So all the fear, apart from the real external fear, every other fear is you have been causing in your life now. So that takes us to handling fear, assumed fear. Because authentic fear is real time. We can never predict when it's going to come. Immediately fight or flight. That's the response we give. So if we can fight it out, we start fighting it out over there. If we feel that we have more energy over there to combat, so we fight over there or find a way to run away from that. So it's basic human nature. It's called polyvagus theory. You know, it says like that, fight or flight. And it is too overpowering. If the atmosphere is too overpowering, you get freezed. Nothing can be done. So there is no tool or a programmed way to address an authentic fear. When authentic fear presents itself, our own biological system, protective mechanism in us will give some clue and way to meet it, combat it, and come out of it. There is no pre-programming for that at all. So all the tools that you're going to learn now based on NLP, the neuro-linguistic programming, or a mind programming method. The definition of NLP is mind programming method. You can program your mind to exhibit specific behavior. So here we are going to learn specific simple tools to address, program your mind to address daily teasing fear that you experience every day. A phobia, I'm not dealing here. Phobia is slightly more of magnitude, which is a separate section. But here in this everyday fear that we face, how can we come out of it is what we're going to learn. The first one is called VAK pattern. VAK pattern break. V is visual, A is auditory. V is visual means seeing, A is auditory. Auditory means hearing, K is kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is feeling. Any tactile feel or emotional feel is called kinesthetic in neuro-linguistic pattern. So VAK pattern break, which means we are going to use our three senses. We're going to use our three senses to release ourselves from fear. We're going to use our three senses. Yeah. So one is, whenever you get uneasy fear, whenever you get any uneasy fear and you don't want that to experience now, immediately take your palm, look at your palm and say, I see my palm. And then you swiftly rub your palm. So when you swiftly rub your palm, you hear the palm. I hear my palm. And then when you swiftly rub your palms, automatically heat is generated. So that way I feel my palm. You say, I feel my palm, and then I am calm. This is a fantastic, quick fix solution to break the pattern of fear at that point of time. I see my palm, I hear my palm, I feel my palm, I am calm. I told you boldness is not opposite of fear. Relaxed feeling. Calmness is the opposite of fear. Only when you become calm, you can muster courage and then start building on working on it. Courage is not absence of fear. Courage or boldness is taking action in spite of fear. All bold people will have fear in them. Only thing, they know how to contain it and work on it. They convert that fear into power, because all emotions are energy. Fear is also an emotion. It's an energy. So that energy of fear can be transmuted into positive power in you towards the direction you want to achieve result. So this pattern, I see my palm, I hear my palm, I feel my palm, I am calm. When you say at that point of time, immediately you will break the pattern of fear. And what will happen? Perhaps after about 5 or 10 or 1 hour, again the same thought and same fear can come. The moment the same thought of fear-inducing thought comes, immediately get into, I see my palm, I hear my palm, I feel my palm, I am calm. Say that. Now, when you address it again and again, the moment that fear comes, when you see, I see my palm, I hear my palm, I feel my palm, I am calm. When you keep on breaking the pattern of thought, you will be amazed to find, maybe after 1 day, maybe after 2 days, that fear-inducing thought keeps coming less and less and finally vanishes away, that you are able to move forward. So, I see my palm. Please write it down. I see my palm. I hear my palm. I feel my palm. I am calm. So I'm going to be silent now for maybe about 30 seconds. All of you as a participant here, please practice it now. Please go ahead. All right. So this is a very powerful NLP pattern. Yeah. Okay. Now this is again another wonderful NLP tool based on, there's something called eye accessing cue. Some of the people who have done NLP are participants here, they may be knowing So our thought pattern and our eye movement have a link. So when you enroll for NLP course, you will learn more and more on how to read a person's thought pattern through eye movement. You can learn from NLP workshop when you choose to attend. Yeah. So I'm using this technique here. So whenever you have slight uneasiness or fear, instead of getting stuck with that, what you do is that just in a very zigzag way, just keep moving your eyes. Just roll your eyes. Not in a systematic way, just zigzag way. You just roll your eyes. Just roll your eyes. Roll your eyes. So this will rewire your brain or break that pattern of fear that comes in it. That will break the pattern that is running inside your head. So roll your eyes in zigzag way. Or any fear. What will happen? What can do? So any kind of persisting fear that you have inside your head when you're stuck, don't allow it. Immediately roll. What will happen is at that point of time, again, you will come out of that fear, and maybe after some time again it comes in, start rolling your eyes. So when you tell your unconscious mind that you are conscious of its fearing pattern and you are giving it a new direction, then you will say, okay, right, all right, I will not tease you anymore. So rolling your eyes is another wonderful tool to come out of fear.
Touch.
Now this is again called 5-second rule. This again, pattern break. Physiology. NLP says mind and body are parts of the same system. So whatever that goes on in mind has a physiological reflection somehow. We cannot escape from it. That's why they say face is the index of mind. Yeah, face is obviously index of mind. And people who are into personal development or soft skill, they know that the body can never tell a lie. Our physiology, whatever movement, is a reflection of thoughts, subtle thoughts or gross thoughts. Somewhere our body movement reflects our thinking pattern. So we are using the power of physiology here, and anytime you are gripped by or teased by fear, immediately say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I get it. Make that shift, body shift, or just take a walk. Just take a walk somewhere and come back and sit. Do not be in the same posture or pose when you are brewing that fear. Whatever posture you are holding during the fear thought, you have to change the posture with a dynamic body movement. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I get it. I do it. The same way, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. So this is what you are supposed to do. This is also a very, very, very powerful tool using the power of physiology. Our body is a wonderful instrument to handle our mind, my friends. Exercising is one wonderful way to empower your mind with positivity. The more exercise that you do regularly, it secretes feel-good endorphins, thereby body immunity increases. You become more and more cheerful and charming in your look, that others will feel attracted to you naturally. It's not about building your body, not that way. But when you do regularly physical exercises, physical movements, physical exercises, basic funda is walking. And yoga asana is another beautiful system to regulate your body and mind. Now, martial arts basically is not to hit somebody. Martial arts is basically to control your mind, making you more and more thoughtless, to bring you into mindfulness here and now. Absolute focus. Especially in China, it was developed. Of course, our people have given it is what they say. All the movie also that came, Dhyana became Chan, Chan became Zen. That's how the version goes. Now, Yogasana came into existence for people who are into yoga. The Yogasana is not yoga. Yoga is a different system altogether. What we physically do is only Yogasana. And Yoga Asana is, if you do regularly, it secretes all good hormones and blood flow regularly and oxygen intake is more. Thereby, your mind also is more calm, matured, bright, and intelligent. A native intelligence wakes up when you do exercises regularly. And Yogasana is proved to be a very powerful way for mind-body coordination, conditioning, and awaken your inner spirit. So that way, use this physiology, because we have been using this physiology only. When you are afraid, what we do, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh my God. Oh, we are using physiology, but we are using physiology the wrong way. Priest, I don't know. I don't know what to say. So we are using the same physiology. Instead of allowing that inappropriate physiology to overpower thinking, you're using your own body to become empowered, stronger, resourceful, and come back to that situation so that fear doesn't grip you. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I win, or I become confident. So when you say that, it really gives you the power to combat fear in that context. Deep breathing is excellent. Breathing is something that can give you power even during normal days. And when you are gripped with fear, immediately what happens? You have a shallow breathing, less breathing to your heart and lungs, because blood flow is also very limited to heart and blood, so that you are focused to run away, fight or flight. Whereas relaxation is only the opposite of fear, I told you. If you're relaxed, only you can come out of fear, not boldness. Boldness is a decision, choice you're making. Boldness is not opposite of fear. So whenever you are gripped with fear or teasing thoughts of fear come, just take breathe in and I breathe out fear. You tell within yourself, breathing out fear. Breathing out fear. So when you do that, you will be amazed that fear at that point of time goes out of your bosom. Please understand, not my word. Fear at that point of time goes out of your bosom. Not that fear is entirely wiped from your bosom. Not that way I'm saying. What I'm saying is fear at that point of time goes out of your bosom. That means you are able to invade fear and keep a check to it. And you are throwing out of your bosom. It goes out again to come back after some time. When it comes back again, breathing in calmness, I breathe out fear. Do it for about 5 minutes. And not only when you grip fear, even on a daily basis also, you can breathe in, and breathing in positive energy and breathing out all my negatives. Breathing in positivity and I breathe out all negative. When you keep saying that, you will be amazed that you get more and more power and energy to face life context, and you will be automatically and obviously, like breathing is happening so naturally in spite of you. Do you really plan to breathe? Do you really plan? We don't plan to breathe. Breathing happens naturally. Same way, to be bold also happens naturally to you when you sync this affirmation with your breathing. Confident. So you will be amazed. And any behavior modification takes 21 days. Please understand, any behavior modification takes 21 days. Nothing happens overnight. If something can happen overnight, it will be undone overnight. And I will write here, I suppose okay. It's okay. It's okay. So your subconscious mind responds to conditioning. It responds to only conditioning. What you keep saying it repeatedly, only subconscious mind can respond. So from that angle, When you breathe regularly with this, you will be amazed to find that the fear goes away. So next is a very, very powerful NLP tool called submodality shift. It's called submodality shift. Whatever fear that you have been having regularly, give a color to it. So I've just, for example, I've given a blue color here. This is just sample I've done. You can choose a color of your choice. Take one color, give a shape to it. I have given here a round shape I have given. You can give any color of your choice, which comes to your mind, comfortable for you. So take a color. Now see the image moving away from you. Since it's a 2D I'm giving here. So see the image moving away from you, and the color gradually fades, pales, and move away. You know, something like this. So give any kind of fear that you normally get that is teasing you. Maybe about a job, maybe about your career, maybe about anything, relationship, anything, any kind of fear that has been teasing you, that you want to work with it, that you want to work on it, that something that you have a need to do about it, compelling you to do about it. Then take up that, give a color, give a shape to it, and then see that image moving away from you, and also the color is fading and becoming black and white, gray, and then vanish. So that represents your fear. It's a powerful mind programming method based on neuro-linguistic programming, which is called a submodality shift. In fact, we cause fear into our mind only in this process. We construct our own images, pictures, sounds related to fear and keep it there. So you are using the same pattern of imagination to remove fear. So I'm just showing here. Yeah. So my only request to you now, I want you to practice now. Think of one fear that you want to address now in your life. So sit relaxed, and then close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, give a color to it. And then what shape you want to give to it, give a shape to it. And once that color, that shape represents your fear. And as you have noticed that color and shape in front of you, you see that moving away from you. And as it moves away from you, it gradually fades and pales and moves away from you. And notice the feeling of fear that is there or not. Yeah. Take up something that you really have, something that normally you have, you experience fear. Take that, go into it, think of that context which gives you fear. The moment you experience that feeling of fear in you, immediately give a color to it, shape to it, that represents. So whenever you take a look at it with your eyes closed, when you look at the color and the shape, check if you have the fear. And then once you feel the fear inside, now push the picture away from you. It goes away from you. And as it goes away from you, the color fades, grayish, pales, and vanishes. And check for the feeling. Yeah. So the 5 tools that you learned: VAK pattern break. You learned rolling your eyes, 5-second rule physiology change, and breathing out of fear. And submodality change. So these are the 5 tools that you really learned here in this program to combat your imagined fear, assumed fear, which you normally face in your everyday life of a slighter or slightly of intensity. I've never addressed a phobia here. I've never addressed deep fear or depression here. That's a separate subject. It's about our everyday fear that we make, and we can work on it. And you will certainly get the result. You will start feeling the change in you. You will experience change from the fear pattern to intermittent respite from it and feeling confident. And once you keep practicing it for 10 days, you will feel an enormous change. And in 3 weeks' time, my friend, I promise you, you would have progressed enormously, that you know, and you will come to know You have gained control over situation and you can handle any kind of situation. Yeah. So these are the 5 tools that I have given. Now, that's why I say fear, fascinated effort appropriately rewards. So this fear, when you take a fascinated effort of combating fear for the next 3 weeks, it will appropriately reward you with what you want, and you will say, oh, fear, nothing like it. I can always handle it. Fear is something like a chocolate for me that I can easily handle. That kind of a mental state you will get, that its challenges are chocolates for you. It becomes chocolate for you, and it's easy to handle fear because you know fear is inflicted by you, and you only have done the thought inside your head. Nobody has injected fear into you. Since you have generated it, only you have the power to wipe it out. And these are the 5 tools that I have shared with you for you to experiment and experience driving fear out of your system, and you will become comfortable in your life, knowing well to handle fear situations. Yes, fascinated effort appropriately reward.